The Aula F108 Pro's massive 8000 mAh battery and customizable 1.14-inch LCD screen paired with a knob is something really interesting to me. I had to get one of these. Throughout this review, I will occasionally compare this with the S98 Pro, and that too has its own video here in our channel. This is a full-sized 100% layout mechanical keyboard with a gasket-mounted structure for a soft cushioned typing feel. For newbies out there, this basically bounces up and down, taking in rattles and vibrations out of the switches, creating a deeper, thocky sound. Similar to the S98 Pro with the screen and the knob, but having more buttons and a wider desk space requirement. This is a tri-mode keyboard, so you get wired USB-C, 2.4 GHz wireless, and Bluetooth connectivity, perfect for switching between devices. The 8000 mAh battery pack is really huge compared to industry standards. With NKRO and a 1000Hz polling rate, it's got the responsiveness for competitive gaming. You also get a 1.14-inch smart display showing battery, time, and custom images, controlled by a multifunction knob that tweaks volume, RGB, and system settings, but more on this later. My unit came with the Huano Caramel Latte switches featuring a 45-gram actuation force and a 55-gram bottom-out force. Prelude for smooth keystrokes. The hot swap south-facing PCB supports 3-pin or 5-pin switches, so swapping is a breeze for newbies or pros. But more on the switches later. This board's loaded for versatility, so let's go over the software. So before I go over screen customization, first I'll go over the software in general. So the first tab we have here is for key binding settings, including some media buttons up there and some shortcuts that you could use. We have here macro settings. I've done a recording a while back. In fact, let me do that right now. So while recording, it does not detect your mouse clicks. However, you may freely insert them through this button right there. Moving on, you have RGB settings right here, which are pretty much self-explanatory. We have more RGB settings right here and real-time lighting right here, which I'm not really sure the difference between this and that, but you may freely play around with it. And if that's not enough, there's another one here that reacts to your music or to your PC's audio. The last tab here is for basic settings, factory reset, and key response time. Leave this at level 2 because that's what's default, and most of the keyboards I've tried, it's at level 2. Moving on to screen customization. So I've uploaded a GIF right here. All you need to do is just click on import. And by the way, you can download GIFs online. Just search on Google and do a Control S. Click on import, click the GIF, click on open, and then it imports pretty quickly. And in order for you to upload that to your keyboard, click on upload to keyboard and patiently wait. And now that it's done uploading, let's move on to the screen navigation. Oh, and by the way, before we go, so in order for you to upload this to your keyboard, you need this connected wired. Anyways, let's move on to the screen navigation. So we've just customized the screen. Now, let's go over screen navigation here. If I twist to the right, you have there the time and all the other indicators on the screen. Move it another to the right, and you can change connectivity right here. So that's wired, 2.4G or Bluetooth. Okay, let's go back. Press the button again. Here you can change operating systems. That includes Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. Go Windows. Now, on to the next, we have here effect. You can change RGB effects right here. You can also change RGB color here, brightness, RGB speed. You have here volume for your PC, the language of the screen, and now we're back to the custom GIF. Inside the box, you get a keyboard, a manual, a generic black plastic rubber-coated cable, a key puller combo, 4 extra Huano Caramel Latte switches, and a PT dust cover. The S98 Pro had a cloth with it and dust brush, which I wish this had too. I love that they both included a dust cover, great for keeping dust at bay, and I wish more brands did this. The manual's in Chinese, which was a bummer, since I had to fumble through it, but the setup's pretty straightforward. The knob's made of plastic and aluminum, but wobbles a slight tad bit, though it's not deal breaker. Its tactile feedback when twisting is super minimal, which some might like for smooth adjustments, but others might want more clickiness, just like that of the S98 Pro. The keyboard's case is plastic, weighing a solid 1.2 kilograms, giving it a sturdy feel. Thanks to the 5 dampening layers, Poron sandwich foam, IXP switch pad, PET anti-static film, PCB foam, and a bottom silicone pad. There's very little hollowness, making it sound and feel premium. Silicone is a really good damper that adds to the overall weight and offers more sound absorption. This has the same damper layers as the S98 Pro, by the way. Underneath, you've got rubber pads and 2-level kick-up feet for angle adjustments. Then the power switch, USB-C input, and dongle storage are conveniently on the top side, panned to the left. Overall, the build's straightforward with good plastic quality, no complaints here. Let's move on. The keycaps are OEM profile, crafted from double-shot PBT plastic with side-printed shine-through legends, perfect for RGB glow without top clutter. OEM works best with side-printed keycaps as you see the legends better due to the keycap height. The S98 Pro has a cherry profile, which to me feels more comfortable for typing at the cost of a little less comfortable view of the legends. The stabilizers are Prelude, but I'd add a touch more for extra smoothness. They're tightly placed placed on the positioning plate so there's minimal rattling, which is a win for stable, quiet stabs. Better than the S98 that shakes a tad bit on the plate. The Huano Caramel Latte switches with a 45-gram actuation force and 55-gram bottom out strike a great balance for gaming and typing. Light for quick inputs, yet heavy enough to avoid typos. Paired with the Flex Cut PC plate, these switches deliver a deep, thocky sound that's super satisfying. For newbies, the south-facing hot swap PCB makes swapping 3-pin or 5-pin switches a breeze. And I mentioned that already, but wanted to rub it in y'all's faces. Stick around for the sound test in the next segment to hear these switches sing. The Aula F108 Pro comes in 5 color options on Shopee. Take a good look at the screen as I cycle through them in the B-roll. The gradient variant that I have here gives off a masculine vibe perfect for darker PC builds. The side printed shine-through keycaps rely heavily on the RGB to pop, and the south-facing LEDs are ideal here, keeping legends clear without glare. There's no branding on the keyboard except what's shown on the 1.14-inch LCD screen, which keeps things neat, and we already replaced that GIF. But anyway, 3 light indicators sit beside the escape key for numlock, caps lock, and win lock, while the screen shows battery levels and way more than that. Hit function key and backslash to cycle through the RGB modes for the keys. You also get side lights with RGB modes toggleable by the function key and right shift, and colors that you can cycle through with the function key and front slash. There's a light strip above the arrow keys. Function key plus Z changes its color, and function key plus left shift switches its modes. With all these lights and 8000 mAh battery pack, this board's design is well thought out. Very much similar to the S98 Pro with front RGBs. The S98 Pro review will be in the description below along with the links on where to grab your Aula F108 Pro. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. This is Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. Do not forget to not subscribe.